So this is Vanguard Waterfront Square, and we're doing our opening today, but I'd like to announce that we're excited to have you here. Lou's going to come up here and talk to you a little bit about what our development is like, and then the mayor after that, if you want to come on up. Thank you guys for coming out today.
Good evening. My name is Lou Minicucci, and I'm with Minco Development. I'm the local partner for Covington Development out of St. Louis. And I generally get the honors of making the initial presentations. And you might wonder why that is, and I think some of you have heard this before, but with a name like Lou Minicucci in Revere, they figured in St. Louis that would play really well. Plus I speak the dialect, the local dialect here, and that's very helpful. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody. I'd like to welcome the mayor, who will be speaking very shortly. And as I said, we're going to try to keep this brief. A little bit about the project and how this transpired. I happen to know a fellow that I met about 15 years ago, John Porter, who is the owner of Covington out of St. Louis. And John had come out to Boston and really liked the area, and he was out in Fan Pier in South Boston and did a small investment out there and did very well. And he said, you know, I think the best piece of land from Boston to New York is the South Boston area. And he made his investment up there. And then about 4 years ago, he called me up and he said, hey, Lou, what do you know about this place, Revere? What have you heard about Revere? And I said, well, it's the first national beach in the country, and it's on the rebound. I think it's a pretty good place. He said, why don't you go take another look, and let's put our heads together and see if there's something here. And I did, and I called him up, and I have to give John a lot of credit. As somebody from St. Louis came out here and saw Revere Beach and saw it as a diamond in the rough. And I totally agree with him. Revere has nothing but positive things that I see happening from here on out. Having said that, I'd like to thank some of the city officials that were very instrumental in bringing us here and getting us to do the investment at Waterfront Square. 4 years ago, there wasn't really much going on. Now there's about 4 or 5 other residential projects. We were really the first ones to have faith in the city, which we certainly don't regret. Some of the people that who have made this possible is John Fester, who is here in charge of economic development. And I don't know if John, if you could just... there's many other, the building inspector who has been great, Pat DeMarco and Ben DiCristoforo, Frank Stringy, all the city officials that had been great in working with us. They certainly kept our feet to the fire, and I can't tell you that every single meeting was an easy meeting, but there was always a solution. They always worked very closely with us to make sure this project happened. I want to give you some brief statistics on the building itself. It's 194 units. There's in 5 stories, as you can see behind me, 2 buildings. The building to my left has 28 units, and the balance of the 194 are in this building. 2 levels of parking under this building, 1 level of parking under the building next door. It's about a $42 million investment in Revere, and we think it's going to turn out very well. We've had a tremendous success rate in the lease-up. I think we're just about 50% rented. We've just about completed our last phase. We had 3 phases, the first building being phase 1, and this phase 2. And the last phase just came online, or will be coming online on Monday. So I guess in conclusion, we're extremely Grateful to the citizens of Revere, to the municipal officials of Revere, and we're awful glad and awful happy that we're part of your community. So that's about all I have to say. I was going to invite Steve Marabito up for just to give an introduction to the mayor.
Thank you. First, on behalf of the City Council, let me say thank you for the invitation, and thank you for the tour, Jody DiLorenzo. So let's applaud Jody for giving us a great tour. I'd like to welcome Lou to the neighborhood in this development. Joe, great job on this construction. It was really a pleasure to take a tour. This is a beginning of a new era in Revere, because not only do we have a new mayor, but we're going to have new development throughout this city. And this is a start. This is the initial start. So thank you. But first, let me introduce our newest mayor, the new mayor, our only mayor, Brian Arrigo.
How's everyone doing tonight? So welcome to Revere Beach, the crown jewel of the Boston region. And if people didn't believe that before, I think standing up here, you'll believe it. I will be brief. Let me start off by thanking everyone here. There's one person that I don't think is here that I think deserves a lot of credit, and that's former Mayor Tommy Brasino. For those who don't know, former Mayor Brasino worked with Jody Ganji to make sure that the Wonderland TOD project in Waterfront Square could become a reality, and he was instrumental in making sure that would happen. So without his effort to make this happen, we would not be here today. I will start off by announcing some of the elected officials who are here with us tonight. As you heard from Councilor Morabito, we also have Ward 1 City Councilor Joanne McKenna, Ward 2 City Councilor Ira Novoselsky, Ward 3 City Councilor Arthur Guanasso, Ward 5 City Councilor John Powers, Ward 6 City Councilor Charlie Patch. I think that's it for the City Council. And for the school committee, we have School Committee Woman Carol Ty. So, who did I miss? Oh, and former mayor and Councilor at Large Bob Hass. So I'll be very brief because I know everyone's probably getting a little chilly. A few years ago, I actually lived just a few blocks down. I lived at 10 Ocean Ave. And when I lived on 10 Ocean Ave, I loved waking up in the morning, being able to go out to the beach and taking advantage of all that the beach has to offer. And so I have a special place in my heart. I grew up a little bit further down, but when I lived down at 10 Ocean Ave, or on Ocean Ave, I had kind of a renewed love for the city. And being close to the beach, being able to take the T into Boston and work every day meant a lot to me, and it made me realize the potential that the city has. So with the ribbon cutting that we're going to do today, it isn't just kind of an ending of a construction site. The way that I look at it, it's a launching pad for the future of the city. And we're going to all be part of it, and we have some great potential, and we're going to do some great things. So thank you all for coming out tonight. I look forward to cutting the ribbon, and great job. Thank you.
Just before we do the ribbon cutting, I want to introduce a few of the people who are hands-on, who really made this happen. I think first and foremost, and without embarrassing him, is Dave, our I guess our construction overseer. So Dave Braswell is from St. Louis, from Covington. Dave, he doesn't look it, but he's done over 100 of these projects, and he's very masterful at coming up with an appropriate design. But having said that, David Boyce, our architectural firm, I wanted to acknowledge David Boyce, who I guess it just left, and Joe DeGangi, who was part of the Waterfront Square. So, in closing, thank you for coming, and please enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks, man.